Are you thinking about jaw angle implants? Have you maybe watched a video that I produced a few months ago and decided this is something you're interested in? Have you had orthognathic surgery? Are you wondering whether or not custom PEEK implants are better than MedPore implants, or better than off-the-shelf silicone implants? Well, if so, you've come to the right place. Today I want to talk about sort of an update in my experience with jaw angled implants and facial implants as a whole. Hi everybody, I'm Dr. Jonathan Zelken. I'm a board-certified plastic surgeon in Newport Beach, California. One of my areas of interest and expertise is facial augmentation, specifically skeletal facial augmentation. And what that means is changing the shape or enlarging the shape of certain bones or features of your face. And classically, the chin implant is something that many, if not all, plastic surgeons offer and is relatively easy to offer. But more recently, people have been asking for jaw angle implants, tear trough implants, cheek implants, and other things that are not as commonly performed because either it's difficult or it's just not in somebody's skill set. The jaw angle implant, I think, deserves its own video, and hence here we are today. And today I do want to discuss sort of three aspects of this operation. First and foremost, whether or not it's going to achieve a certain goal that you want. Second of all, if you are a candidate for this procedure because of existing facial features or desires, or maybe you've had orthognathic surgery. And then finally, what type of implant should you get? Should it be a PEEK implant, silicone implant, porous polyethylene, and the list goes on. So the first thing I want to talk about is jaw angle implants as a whole. If you feel that you lack a jawline, and you don't really have bony support there, and it's not something that liposuction or even a facelift can help achieve, this is sort of a congenital issue, you always had a weak jawline, or you have a normal jawline and you just want something a little bit more exaggerated, then a great way to do that is to augment your facial skeleton. And the best way we can do that is with implants. Classically, I've always offered off-the-shelf implants that come in many shapes and sizes, and we can order them online, and they come within days, literally within a day or two of ordering them. They are designed to either lengthen the gonial angle, set it back, or widen it. And an important feature of these implants is that they can easily be removed if you don't like them, number one. Number two, they're easily placed and secured with 1 or 2 screws per side. Other options include PEEK implants, which stands for polyether ether ketone, or porous polyethylene, better known as MedPore. You can even get titanium implants, and there's, I'm sure, other different flavors that I'm just not aware of. And the idea, again, is to augment your bony skeleton. This part of your mandible bone is called the gonial angle, and it is the keystone for which we will either lower it, widen it, set it back. And again, one thing to know is if you're getting an implant that's designed to lower the angle, it will widen it a bit. If you want to widen it a bit and not lower it, you will have some lowering effect too. But the implants are really honestly designed to maximize whichever direction of travel you seek. The next thing I want to discuss is the relationship of jaw angle implants to orthognathic surgery. One pattern that I've noticed since I made my last video is that a lot of people seeking jaw implants have a history of orthognathic surgery. What's orthognathic surgery? It's literally changing the shape of your jaw. Upper and lower orthognathic surgery is also called bimaxillary surgery, bimaxillary advancement, setback. If you have an underbite, you can shift your mandible back. If you have an overbite, you can set your maxilla backward and pull your mandible forward. There's so much you can do by cutting apart these bones here and moving them around that you can literally reshape your face. But every time you do something like that, you are offsetting a certain harmony. And the two areas that people, specifically with bimaxillary advancement, ask for augmentation or support with is secondary or subsequent lack of jawline definition. And number two would be like either a deep tear trough or just generally kind of not having an upper mid face that matches the lower mid face. So tear trough implants or infraorbital rim implants or cheek implants become relevant there. The other thing I wanted to talk about was certain features that I see or patterns that I see after bilateral sagittal split osteotomy, which is when you make a cut down this part of the mandible and bring it forward. I notice that when you do that, the lever arm on the mandible becomes longer, and so your mandible and the masseter muscle that closes it has to do more work to close it, and I notice it becomes a little bit wider. So a lot of these patients are getting either wide or high jaw angles after orthognathic surgery, so a lot of people want implants to correct for that. And these are specifically going to be lengthening and or widening implants. And for these patients, it is a little bit more important that we consider custom implants. So I now want to shift the discussion to custom versus off-the-shelf implants. If you have a so-called normal anatomic relationship between your upper dentition and lower dentition, and you don't need orthognathic surgery, something off-the-shelf for a symmetric face makes sense. But if you have facial asymmetries or congenital differences, or you've had orthognathic surgery that has disrupted the natural harmony and function of the jaw angle, you probably would benefit from a custom implant. The custom implant, the ones I use, are PEEK. They're not silicone. If you're gonna get something that fits like a glove or a puzzle piece to your bone, you don't want it to move around. That sort of negates the effect. It sort of cancels out the purpose of getting a custom implant. What I like about custom implants is that A, putting in a jaw angle implant is kind of difficult. And when you get something that keys in and snaps into place, not only is it more satisfying, but you have better, I guess, a sense of security that the implant is in the right place on the table, which is a great thing for a surgeon, because when you're working through a deep hole inside the mouth, you want to make sure that that implant is in the right place. It, like any silicone implant, is fixated by screws, and it is designed to help you better tune in what it is you want to achieve with your jaw angle, but it also can correct for asymmetries and other things. The design process requires you to get a CT scan, and I can help you with that if you need it. Once you get that CT scan, we'll have a fabrication and manufacturing and design process where we send these images to a manufacturing company that works with me closely to design implants. We then have 1, 2, sometimes even 3 phases or rounds of design changes before we come to terms with an implant shape and size that will ideally help you match your goals. Once that's done, it takes about 2 to 3 weeks to manufacture these implants, and then we can place them. The beauty of this is if you have asymmetries, we can match the two halves of your face to ensure that we are optimizing symmetry after the procedure. So a custom implant actually makes sense for people who want jaw angle augmentation, and people who are seeking correction for changes after, for example, jaw surgery or congenital asymmetries. If you have any questions, or if this is a little too much for you, or you want me to break it down or resolve this further, I'm more than happy to do so. But in the meantime, it's my pleasure to present this to you, and I welcome you to present any questions or concerns and come in for an in-person or even a virtual consultation. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you enjoyed this video.